Welcome back to Rad BMX Builds. On this episode, we're going to take a bike that a lot of you have seen on Instagram, but I haven't really put in much video, reveal it to you in my old hometown of Fullerton, California. Right now, we're in Newport Beach, and we're getting ready to head up there. It's about a half hour away, and we're going to visit some of the locations where I used to ride bikes, where I grew up, went to elementary school, junior high, and high school, and rode around with my friends. I figured that'd be a good place to reveal the bike and talk about it a little bit while we're there, so let's head out. Okay, first stop is the Brea Mall in Brea, California. This is where I used to ride my bike to when I lived in Fullerton in the 80s to hang out and do mall things like walk around, go to Sam Goody's, look at records, go to the movies and the arcade. So you would bring your bike here, lock it up. Hopefully no one would take it, break the lock and steal it. But today, that's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna go inside the mall. The mall is definitely not in its glory days, and I'm not leaving a bike like this out here. So here we are at the Brea Mall. This is the bike, the GT Pro Performer, white and gold. And today we're gonna take it on a tour of the 80s childhood that I had and go to several different locations. First stop was the Brea Mall. Let's see where the next stop takes us. All right, here we are at the Brea Municipal Plunge. I would ride my bike up here or walk because I'm pretty close to where I used to live in Brea. And we would go swimming here almost every day in the summertime. This would have been around the mid-80s. Not too far from my house. Kind of crazy that it's still here. The pool is still full. No, you can't empty it. It's not skatable, but it was a big square pool that kids can go to, swim in. Had junior lifeguards there. Basically a place where the parents would just let their kids go run wild in the summer and come home with green air and red eyes. But as promised, I have the bike here with us, and we are going to visit some more spots. But this was a cool childhood memory for me, and now we're going to head right down the road to where I used to live and an arcade that used to be across the street, so let's go check that out. I know, it's a little hard to tell, but that used to be a McDonald's that I used to go to after finding whatever spare change I could to get some soft serve ice cream, ride my bike over here, go inside. Yes, it even used to have a playground back in the day, but now it looks like a car lot. Kind of a bummer when you see some childhood memories just turn into something that you wish it never would have, but that McDonald's, now a car lot. Let's move on to the next thing. So we're driving through some of my old neighborhoods. I'm in the area of Brea Boulevard in Jupiter, where I used to live. And you saw Brea's Best Burger, which is only about a block from my house. So I'd ride over there, walk over there. Some of the best hamburgers in town. It's nice to see that they're actually still open. Then the liquor store, you see, is where I used to ride my bike literally across the street with whatever quarters I can find. And inside that liquor store, they had 2 or 3 video games. I remember Donkey Kong being one of those games. So I would spend whatever change I can find on video games there as a kid and, you know, play for a while until I ran out of money and then go back home and start checking couch cushions for more quarters or find little odd jobs or whatever I can do to get more money. Let's go to the next place. All right, this is Raymond, and we would ride down this hill. You can see all the way to the beach. I don't know if the camera is going to show that or not. Incredibly steep downhill. We would ride this quite a lot. And I went through several back tires skidding going down this hill, trying not to die because you would probably get up to 40 miles an hour on a BMX bike. So this is on the way to where I used to live, but we're going to make a stop at Acacia Park, which is where we would make dirt jumps and jump our bikes, and a little something extra when we get there that I'm going to show you. This is Acacia Park in Fullerton, and we would ride our bikes down that bike trail right where that little scooter kid's coming, through the park, which is nothing really significant, but at the other end of this park, where I'm taking you, is a bridge that went over to my best friend's house. And right at the base of that bridge, we would build some dirt jumps. And there might even still be some there because it's a real popular place for kids to ride past on their bikes. But if it's not there, I'll show you the spot. And we did a lot of jumping, a lot of building of little berms and things like that in that area, which is right up there in those trees. So let's find a spot to park and get out. Okay, we're in Acacia Park in Fullerton, and this behind me was the bridge to my best friend's house I was just telling you about. And this is a creek bed here that we used to build jumps along. And if you follow this trail down, you're going to see that you can still kind of see the bike path, how it goes off into these bushes. The bushes weren't here then, but if you follow the natural terrain of the dirt, you can see where it goes down, back up, and then as we get a little closer, you can see where we used to actually have our jumps. So this is pretty cool. You can still see what's left of the jumps that we built well over 35 years ago now, and it's still kind of visible. So I don't know if kids still used it long after we were done with it, but this is where we used to do it, and this is where we used to ride almost every single day and do jumps on our bikes. This is the bike path I showed you the beginning of earlier, and it came out to this point up to the bridge where we'd head over to my best friend's house. So a lot of time spent in this park, a lot of good riding, a lot of summer afternoons with a shovel, and having good times and just being rad. Welcome back to Rad BMX Builds. Today I took you on a small tour of a town I grew up in, Fullerton, California. We stopped off at the Brea Mall where I showed you the white and gold GT Performer and some of the places I used to ride bikes back in the mid to late 80s. After the Brea Mall, we went on a short little tour through Brea and down into my hometown of Fullerton and saw a few places that I used to like to ride. I thought this would be a good opportunity for you to kind of see where I grew up, where I used to ride, and show you the bike. This bike will be for sale, but by the time you see this video, it might already be sold. It's getting ready to go on the website. So the best way to find out what's going on and staying up to date is, of course, follow the Instagram page, rad_BMX_builds. Make sure you're following that Instagram page so you're staying up and current with things that are going for sale. I do not sell on Instagram, so you're going to have to buy them through the website. So there will be no transactions through personal DMs. They're all going to be on the website, which I think is fair for everybody. First come, first serve. So if you want something of mine that will be for sale, keep watching Instagram. As soon as I post that it says for sale, jump over to the website at radbmxbuilds.com and buy it. Don't miss out. They tend to go really fast. Bikes sell real quick. I think I put them up there at pretty fair prices, so don't wait too long. Be ready when they're ready, so that's the best way to get them. Okay, quickly, I'd like to give you a little rundown of this GT Performer. It is a 1992 GT Pro Performer, which I customized. So it's going to have a lot of different parts and a different look than a regular 1992 GT Performer would have. But this is a coin roll frame set that I took with the handlebars and built a white and gold Performer with old school decals, as you saw on some of the footage from earlier. And I have A7X style rims with high flange cut hubs, Suntour type seat post clamp, power disc and gold chain ring, the, what are these? MKS BM7 pedals, GT Repop stem, GT Amy grips. It's got the old school Odyssey brakes and lots of cool components and parts. White Dominator seat with the gold writing, which is kind of cool. And custom made GT Pro Performer decals, which I had made for this bike specifically. No, they're not 92 decals, but this bike is not for the purist. This bike is something if you want to grab people's attention with and ride around on and enjoy. It also has the GT Repop tires on it. This bike rides great. I'm really happy with it. Brakes do need a little adjusting, but I recommend anybody that buys a bike out there, especially an older one like this, that you go through it completely and make sure everything's working great before you just jump on and take off. Most bikes that I sell, I ship, but it will require some minor putting it back together assembly before you take off on that bike. And when you do things like that, pro tip here, make sure you check everything for tightness to include brakes, bolts, everything else, and then give it a light ride, make adjustments as needed before you go full send. All right. I hope you enjoyed this bike. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure if there's any merch that you go to the website and get some merch to help support this page. Make sure you're following the Instagram. And always, if you need parts, the Amazon store below has links to a bunch of really rad BMX parts. And I'd appreciate it if you use those links. In order to keep building memories with me, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. And we'll see you next week. And as always, stay rad.